Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right in with a big question. Are we really innovators, or are we just incredibly good at copying each other? The answer might not be what you think, and it all boils down to one really powerful idea. I mean, just stop and think about your own life for a second. The way you talk, the hobbies you have, even the things you believe. Did you really come up with all that from scratch, or did you kind of absorb it from everyone and everything around you? Well, the answer in a lot of ways is a big old yes. But, that's not a bad thing. In fact, it might be one of our biggest superpowers as a species. So let's dive into the fascinating science behind our inner copycat. Okay, so let's start with the absolute basics. This whole idea is built on something that deep down we all know is true. We learn a massive amount of stuff just by watching other people. We see it, we process it, and we learn from it. But here's the thing. This isn't just a hunch or gut feeling. Nope. This idea was meticulously studied and turned into a groundbreaking theory by one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century. So let's meet the man behind it all. This is Albert Bandura, and he was a true giant in his field, a professor at Stanford, even president of the American Psychological Association. He came along and challenged the old-school thinking that we only learn from direct rewards and punishments. He proposed something truly revolutionary, that we learn most of what we know from each other. So what was this game-changing idea? Bandura called it social learning theory. And you can think of it like a blueprint, right? It shows us exactly how the things we see other people do eventually become the things that we know how to do ourselves. This visual really gets to the heart of the theory. See, it's not a simple one-way street. It's not just monkey see, monkey do. Bandura showed it's more like a constant dance between three key things: the behaviors we see out there, our own internal state, our thoughts and feelings, and the environment we happen to be in. They're all shaping each other all the time. So let's just put a nice, clean definition on it. Social learning theory is all about learning by being around other people. It goes way beyond just being taught something directly or figuring it out through trial and error. Instead, it's all about how we watch, imitate, and model the behaviors of the people all around us. Let's break this down into three really important points. First, you can learn just by watching, period. No reward needed. Second, your brain isn't just passively recording everything. Your own thoughts and beliefs are a critical part of the whole process. And third, and this one is so key, just because you've learned how to do something doesn't automatically mean you're going to do it. There's a gap between knowing and doing. So if there's this gap between knowing something and actually doing it, how do we get across it? Well, Bandura actually laid out a clear 4-step process that takes us from just being a spectator to being a participant. It all starts with attention. And I know, that sounds obvious, but you can't learn what you don't even notice. If you want to learn to ride a bike by watching someone, you have to actually watch them, how they balance, how they pedal. If your attention is somewhere else, the learning process never even gets off the ground. Okay, next up is retention. Because it's not enough just to see it, you have to be able to remember it. Your brain has to store that information, creating a little mental blueprint that you can pull up later. It's that image you have in your head of someone riding a bike perfectly, right before you try it yourself. Step 3 is reproduction. This is where the rubber meets the road. You actually have to try it. You can have a perfect mental movie of a pro cyclist, but you still need to be physically able to reproduce that action. This is the practice stage, the trial and error part where you translate that mental image into actual physical movement. And finally, motivation. You can pay attention, remember what to do, and have the physical ability. But if you don't have a good reason to act, you probably won't. This is your why. Maybe it's the fun of riding with friends, or just proving to yourself you can do it. Without motivation, all that learning just stays passive. Now, this 4-step process makes a ton of sense, but Bandura knew he needed to prove it works, and he did it with one of the most famous and, let's be honest, kinda unsettling experiments in the history of psychology. Meet Bobo, just an unassuming inflatable clown, who became the star of a groundbreaking study on aggression. And what happened to Bobo would change how we think about the power of what we see forever. The setup was chillingly simple. A group of little kids, preschoolers, watched a video of an adult just going to town on this Bobo doll, kicking it, punching it, even hitting it with a hammer. Then, the researchers put those same kids in a room full of toys, including that exact Bobo doll, and just watched. And the results were immediate and absolutely undeniable. The kids who had watched the aggressive video were far more likely to attack the doll themselves. But here's the crucial part. They weren't just randomly aggressive. They imitated the exact behaviors they had seen. The same kicks, the same punches, even using the little toy hammer. It was crystal clear proof. They had learned it all just by watching. So the Bobo doll experiment isn't just some weird old story from a textbook. Its implications are all around us, every single day. So let's bring this home. Why does any of this actually matter to you? Bandura's own conclusion was clear. This whole process of learning by watching, it isn't a switch we can just turn on and off. It's happening constantly, often without us even realizing it, as we absorb the examples of all the people around us. So take a second and really think about your life. Who are your models? They can be live models, the people you interact with every day, like your parents, your friends, your boss. They can be verbal models, someone just explaining how to do something. And of course, a huge one in our world today, they can be symbolic models, characters in TV shows, influencers on your feed, or famous people in the news. We're learning from all of them, all the time. And this isn't just theory. It has powerful, real-world applications. Think about a great classroom. The best teachers are masters of social learning. They don't just tell students what to do, they model the curiosity and respect they want to see. They set goals that students believe they can reach, and by promoting teamwork, they build this powerful sense that, hey, we can do this together. It's the theory in perfect action. And that brings us right back to the beginning. The science is undeniable. We are hardwired to learn by watching. We are all, to some degree, copycats. So the real question isn't if we're copying, it's who are we choosing to copy?